This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your work, your careers, your relationships. Whatever you want to talk about, we are here for you. I'm your host, George Campbell, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined today by fellow Ramsey personality, Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author, host of the creatively named Dr. John Deloney Show. John, how are you?
Excellent, George. If I turn the microphone on
He's
here.
Learning.
Doing great, man. How are you?
He's learning. I'm excited to take some calls today, help some people.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go to the phone lines. Open phones. 888-825-5225 is the number. You give us a call. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Jeff joins us in Pittsburgh. Jeff, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you today? Great.
How can we help?
Okay, so I'm 53 years old. I lost a 34-year job to COVID in 2020. I've recently found another job, but unfortunately, I'm kind of in a depressed area where I live, and I had to take a job, a similar job, but I'm making less than half of what I worked my way up to in my previous job. I have some cash savings. I live in I have my home. I own it flat out. I paid it off in 14 years, took a 30 out, paid it in 14.
Awesome.
Very frugal. I live way below my means. I'm very cash heavy. I have a small IRA. And moving forward, I'm just not sure what direction to go with my earning power being a lot less than what it had been.
Jeff, what were you doing before you got laid off?
I was a GM at a independent-owned dealership, car dealership.
Ah, okay. And car dealerships have just been a mess the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
I'm a GM at an auto repair facility.
Okay. So what were you making? What are you making now?
Well, I made my most money in my entire life. I made like $70,000 from 16 to 2020. That's the most money I ever made in my life, 4 years in a row. That's what I made. Now I'm making like less than half of that. I'm working salary, and I'm going to make about 34.
Wow. Is there room for this to go up if the car market kind of trends back?
Well, I'm working for a repair facility, not a car dealership anymore. So I'm sure the car dealership's going to rebound.
I'm just wondering. I mean, you can make more than that in a different career altogether. With your experience, are there options out there?
I'm about an hour north of Pittsburgh. There's not a really great job market where I live. Mm-hmm. I've been looking since I got hired, to be quite honest with you, because I knew I wasn't going to be, happy sitting where I'm at. But I guess my biggest question is I wanted to talk to Dave was about the money that I have and where I should, in this situation, what I should be doing with it.
But before George jumps into that, I think a key about where you're going to put your money is how long-term or short-term is this situation? Right. And are you going to move? Or are you going to – I'm going to use a word here that's got a clinical component to it, and I'm not meaning that here. When we go through what you went through, which is job loss, there's some data out there that tells us that's akin to losing a loved one. And we often don't grieve it that way. We just get pissed off, and then we grind it out and have to go get in a job because we got to eat. And when our spouse passes away, we know we got to take some time and process and grieve this. And it's hard, and it stinks, and you got to sit in it, and then you got to decide what's next. And often we run. And, man, you're worth more than $34,000. And I don't mean that in a spiritual sense, but
no, I understand. It took me 34 years to get to that point, though. There was many decades where I made 30, 40, 50 grand. But those years, honestly, I disciplined myself to save money and get my house paid off.
Yeah, it's incredible what you've done. Yeah, it's remarkable what you've done. It's just gonna when the fog lifts here. Or when you start leaning into, okay, what's this thing actually going to look like for me? If you make peace with 35 grand, you're a GM of a place, you love it, man, I'll high five you all day long. But George is going to talk about the investments and where to park your money and stuff. But man, a lot of that's going to depend. Is this a temporary situation for you? Are you going to sell this house that you've lived in, move somewhere?
No.
And
No, I don't think I'm going to sell my house. I'll be
Okay.
honest with you. I love my home. I love where I live.
Okay.
I have 2 elderly parents in the area. I'm probably not going to move.
Okay, so that's helpful. And so you've resigned yourself. This is it. And I live in a depressed or dying community, but if I can make 35, I'm going to make 35. I just got to figure out what's.
I'm not saying that's not going to go up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to double.
Okay.
So let's talk about the financial aspect here. How much cash do you have?
A little shy of $450.
$450,000 in a savings account? Where is this?
Yep. Yes, I have it in a savings account.
Wow, you've done incredibly
Yeah,
well,
man, way to
Jeff.
go.
You're an absolute rock star.
What's in the IRA?
Well, up until a couple of days ago, probably right around 100.
What happened a couple of days ago?
I think the market took a crap, didn't it? I think the market took a little hit, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bump. Nothing wild. I mean, you shouldn't lose half your money in there. But
No,
okay.
I didn't say half, but I'm going to say probably a little less than I had last week. But
Sure.
yeah, probably right around that 100 mark.
Okay, and what's the house worth?
$250.
Awesome. Dude, are you a millionaire?
You're
are you
a millionaire,
close?
brother.
Are you
I'm
getting
not
close?
a millionaire. Not yet.
You're getting there.
Yeah, net asset. Yeah, I have some. I guess I'm close.
That's awesome.
Jeff, you are a millionaire. Sit in that for a second, okay?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you topped out at 70 grand. You've bucked every trend available. What an absolute stud, man. It's incredible.
So this $450,000, I want to put it to use. I don't want it just sitting there in a savings account. Do you have any retirement options other than your IRA?
I do not. That's everything I just told you is what I got. I have some other small assets that, add up to a little bit more cash, but I'm not planning on cashing them in unless I have to. But I own everything. I don't own anybody. I don't own a credit card, nothing.
Awesome. Well, dude, this is good news. I definitely want to put this to work and let this money grow for you so that you can have an awesome retirement. So I'm going to take advantage of every tax advantage retirement account I can before moving into, taxable investments and just a general brokerage account if you're investing in index funds or mutual funds so that you can let that money grow. I would connect with a SmartVestor Pro if you aren't already working with a financial advisor that you love that's got the heart of a teacher, and they can walk with you for your specific situation and tell you exactly where this money is going to be best put.
Right.
But I don't want it sitting in a savings account for sure. Because were you just saving up for a rainy day?
Before this all happened, I was earning a decent amount of money every month on that account when I was getting almost 3% on it. But now it's getting 0.55.
Yeah, well, even 3%, if you can get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in good growth stock mutual funds, I'd rather you be doing that, and this money can grow to $1 million.
What kind of risk level is that? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a good investor. I'm not savvy on that at all.
Well, that's why I want
factor are you talking?
Well, there's always risk, but if you're doing mutual funds, you're very diversified. We teach 4 different types. Our SmartVestor Pros can walk you through all of that, help you explain it, and you'll still be in control. You'll be making those decisions. Just jump on to RamseySolutions.com, connect with one. We're rooting for you, man. You're doing well. Sorry about the job loss, but life's not over. You got a long way to go. Way to go, man. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Open phones this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. It is time to put 2021 behind us. Last year left a lot of people feeling burned out and sluggish. Eeyore was their spirit animal. But 2022 is a fresh start, and this is your wake-up call. If you're ready to own this year and actually accomplish your goals with money, your career, and life, we have the plan to get you there. You can make 2022 your best year yet. And we're running our New Year's sale right now where you can get up to 73% off our best-selling books, assessments, and envelopes. That includes Dave's brand new book, a #1 national bestseller, Baby Steps Millionaires, that will show you the quickest, right way to become a millionaire. Or if you're looking for a better way to manage your cash, especially in the categories that are always blowing up your budget like food, pick up our popular Essential Cash Envelope systems. Maybe you're having a hard time bouncing back from the last 2 wild years. You should start 2022 with our best-selling quick read from my friend Dr. John Deloney by my side here, Redefining Anxiety. He's going to teach you what anxiety is, what it's not, and how to get your life back. Best part, it's only $10. That's a pretty good deal. Visit the online store, RamseySolutions.com/store, to get serious and make real progress. I'm George Campbell, joined by Dr. John Deloney today. Open phones, 888-825-5225. Darren joins us in Alberta, Canada. Darren, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great. How can we help?
So, I am just starting out as a young family. I have one little kid, 22 years old, and have absolutely zero financial sort of savvy, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I'd never learned how to treat money. I could have saved a ton when I was younger, but didn't.
You said you're 22?
Now we're stuck living. 22, yes.
Oh, you act like you were like a very old man with no time left.
Yeah. That's what it kind of feels like.
Dude, most people wish they learned this stuff.
You haven't yet, brother. You're good, man.
I know. And that's kind of why I'm trying to turn this all around, because at the moment, how things are going, it looks like I'll be working till I'm 80.
Wow. Well, we can change that.
I don't want to do that.
Why do you feel that way? What's your financial situation? Do you have a lot of debt?
Unfortunately, we do. Well, actually, fortunately, we do not have much. Only about $2,000.
Okay.
In credit cards. Just recently starting to look into the baby steps, but every time we try to get our $1,000 emergency savings put down, since it's winter with COVID, my hours are cut. There's no work really going at the moment, so we end up cutting into it just to pay our ordinary bills. Mm. We don't eat out. We don't spend extra money. We don't do anything. And like I've already started running DoorDash and taken on as many extra side jobs as possible just to make sure we have enough. How can we change things enough?
What do you do for a living, man? What's your day job?
I run a hydrovac truck for an environmental company. Like, you'd think it'd have a little more work, but winter has almost no work, and competition is beating us out.
Yeah. So what do you make a year, man?
About $40,000.
$40,000.
Is that all of the household income?
Yes, my wife doesn't work. We have a little boy at home, and yeah.
So you owe $2,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
We managed to wheedle it down.
Yeah. So
I'd like to get rid of the credit cards entirely.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to let George walk you through the baby steps, but I want to back out 30,000 feet. Okay.
Okay.
Brother, you're in a better spot than you think you are. It's cold, and it's been dark the last few months, and you sound beat down. How old's your baby?
Eve, 8 months.
8 months. So I want to tell you, I've got 2 little ones myself. You're in the season of 8 months when it's exhausting. You can't go outside because it's zero, or it's -0 where you are. All of this weighs down on you. The way I hear in your voice is like you're under one of those anxiety blankets, those weighted 50 or 80 pound blankets or 40 pound blankets, and like your soul has left you. You are not in bad shape financially, brother. You are way ahead of the game. I think the question you and your wife need to ask yourself is this where we want to live? If this is going to be the financial reality of the job I work in now, and by the way, since I was 22, I've probably had 5 to 6 to 7 different jobs, a couple of different careers. So you're good, man. But I want you to look at this with optimism, not with It's all coming down because you're 22, man. You are just getting started. And you only owe $2,000. The number of calls we get from 22-year-olds who owe $100,000 is astronomical, right? So you're in a good spot. I want you to look at this through joy, not through it's all over. Is that cool?
Okay.
All right. Go
Good
for it,
foundation there. So, Darren, it sounds like to me that you don't have a lot of margin in your budget every month.
I've actually never even made a budget.
Well, today is the day, my friend. I'm gonna hook you up with Ramsey Plus. That's our year-long membership, and it's gonna get you connected to every dollar, our budgeting tool. Austin will pick up after our call's over and get you connected with that. I also want you to go through the Financial Peace University videos with your wife. Do this as a family. Start budgeting, and you're gonna see where your money's going. Because right now it sounds like you're not really sure why there's no money left at the end of the month. And so I want to know exactly where that's going.
We did crunch it all together, and we did figure out exactly how much more we would need to accomplish just the bills.
Good. And you may need to pick up some extra side jobs. You may need to supplement that, find something you're good at, and go see if your neighbors need their driveway shoveled. I mean, it can be anything. Get creative. This is not forever. It feels like it is, but this is a short rut.
At the moment, I actually even make donuts on the weekend just to cover up that.
Fantastic.
Awesome. At some point, you're going to have a hard conversation about, is this the job for you? A job that doesn't offer any work in the wintertime, that doesn't sound tenable or sustainable. And if competition's eating your company alive, it may be time for you to say, okay, in 2 years, where do I want to be? Do I want to be a nurse practitioner? In 5 years, do I want to be a nurse? In 2 years, do I want to own my own truck? In 3 years, do I want to have a mechanic shop? Whatever those things are, start planning for those things now. But, man, there's a lot of, we've already done this, we've already done this. You got to start this thing with your attitude, brother, and say, sweet, this is falling apart, sucks, now I'm on to the next. Now what's going to be there for me and my family? Go get it, man.
Yeah, you're 22 with $2,000 in debt. You're going to look back at this 6 months from now, and you're going to be out of debt. You're going to be working on that fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then you're not going to be worried about the hours and what's going to happen. You're going to have what we call financial peace. And after that, you're going to begin investing and saving for that kid's college and paying off the house early and doing all kinds of amazing things. And so I want you to dream about that future and let that vision fuel this fire. Where you go, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to look back and say, remember when things were crazy and my job, there was no hours, and we were doing whatever it took to get by? And those are the stories you're going to be able to tell your son. And so get plugged into the stuff. I'll have Austin pick up and make sure you get connected to Ramsey Plus, and that will walk with you along this journey to make sure that you know exactly what the right next step is. Perfect. Thank you for that, Darren. Good call, John.
Yeah, man.
Man, but it is interesting that a 22-year-old guy who thought my life's over.
Yeah.
I have $2,000 in debt. I thought he was going to say, I'm 64, I have nothing in retirement, I lost my job, and I have $100,000 in debt.
And almost all of the time I hear somebody with that level of despair.
Yeah.
There's life circumstances going on. Somebody's marriage is in trouble. Someone's got an 8-month-old, and they're in the doldrums of winter in Canada, right? Whatever it may be. And it's easy to see a little roadblock, a little speed bump as this giant mountain. And it's just not. You just got to back out far enough and go, all right, man, I thought this was going to be it. I'm 22. Dude, I was a high school coach when I was 22. And since then, now I have a YouTube show. I mean, who knows where this thing's going.
Yeah.
But you got to get out there and hustle. And you got to say, all right, this isn't working. This ship has got a hole in it, so I got to get on another boat and go find another job.
Yeah. And that's a great reminder for anyone listening, because no matter what age you are, you always feel like it's too late for me.
Right.
Right? And I'm 42 and I just lost my job, or I'm 18 and I don't know what I want to do with my life.
It's all over. It's not.
It's never too late to take
not
control.
Over. 62. Start over again.
Yep.
Start over again. 72. Start over again. Just keep getting back up. Keep getting back up. Keep getting back up.
Good reminders there. This is The Ramsey Show.
chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print podcast. Joined today by my friend Dr. John Deloney, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. Both of those shows you can find on the Ramsey Network or wherever podcasts are found. Open phones this hour. It's a free call, 888-825-5225. Let's talk about your money, your life, your relationships, your career, whatever keeps you up at night, your fears, your dreams, your nightmares. John is not afraid to go there, and he will. Let's go to Josh in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Josh, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Talking about your fears in life, so I feel like it's a great introduction here.
Perfect.
Bring it on. Come on, dude.
So I'm active duty, Army. My wife and I and 2 kids are stationed at Fort Bragg, and we're brand new to starting Financial Peace. We started about Christmas of last year, and I felt like we've always been financially savvy, but until starting your course and figuring out that I've got a negative net worth that was pretty revealing.
That'll do it to you.
Josh, first, man, brother, thank you for blessing me and my family with your service. I'm grateful for you. And, dude, I remember distinctly, one of my best friends in the world, his name's Todd, he's a banker, when he did my net worth with me, and it was negative, and he laughed so hard, he almost threw up. He was laughing so hard. I was in disbelief, man. So I remember that moment, man.
It's a good friend.
I'm pretty good. Nope, not.
Well, hey, that's step one.
That's right. That's right.
Step one. You're doing great, man.
So what's your circumstance, brother?
Yeah, so we just started Financial Peace Christmas. Well, November of last year, I bought a 2022 Toyota 4Runner.
Attaboy.
They always make the bad decision right before they join Financial Peace. I love it. Okay.
Right before repenting, right? All right. So it's about a $47,000 truck. I financed 37, and I had 20,000 in the bank. And so, of course, very first thing after we started doing Financial Peace, although my wife was pretty apprehensive about it, I threw all but $1,000 at it. And so I've got 17,000 remaining on it. Now, where things get a little bit scary or sketchy for me is I've got a pending religious exemption with this COVID vaccine, and the threat is looming that they're going to separate those of us that get denied exemptions in June or July. And so I'm paying off right now about $3,200 a month towards this truck. Our net take home is about $5,300 a month. So at $17,000 owed on this, I can have it paid off in about 5.5 months. Or should I sell the truck and I could get about $32,000 in pocket by a $12,000, get from point A to point B.
You can only get $32,000 for this truck?
I guarantee you can get more than that. Guarantee.
No, sorry. Maybe I didn't express the numbers right. So if I can sell it for 50, or even sell it what I bought it at. Let's
there
say
you
I
go.
Sell it for
Yeah.
57.
You're saying you'll net $32,000.
Exactly. I'll net 32, and then what I spend, let's say $10,000, $12,000 on a vehicle that's safe for my family, and then I've got back to having $20,000 back in the bank for our 3 to 6 month emergency fund.
If you get separated at June and July, are you going to lose this income?
Yes, and that's where things are scary for us because.
Okay.
I mean,
what's your household income?
So right now, I make gross $5,400, but we live on base, so I bring in $3,500 because they take away your
housing allowance. Yeah,
your housing pay. Right.
This car feels like it's a large part of your world net worth income.
The car?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the point. It's like, I mean, I feel the whole reason we bought this vehicle is because, I've tinkered around on $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 vehicles, and my wife's like, "Hey, I'm tired of driving these," and so, I just finished a special operations training here, and so I'm thinking, oh man, I'm just rode the bus straight to entitlement and was like, yeah, I deserve this nice truck.
Yeah.
And now
dude, there is no group of people that I know of that are more awesome, more brilliant, and make more ridiculous car choices than my friends who are in the service. Like, and you know that, dude. Hey, at least you didn't get a Jeep with big tires, so you wore the family car, so good for you.
Josh,
hey,
let's skip to the good stuff, Josh. Sell the truck, man.
I want to take what might happen in June or July off the table, okay?
Okay.
That's clouding this thing. You might lose your income, and there's a reality to that, and if you think in any job, for any reason that, hey, come summer, I might be out of a job, then obviously you need to be doing what's best for you and your family. Like, what's that going to look like? How am I going to earn a living? All that. Let's take that off the table right now. George just nailed it. This is too much car for your household income right now, whether you had this or not. You got a $50,000 car and a $60,000 income. It's too much as is. So I would tell you to sell it. If you told me I got into special ops team, I'm going to get deployed, but I'm going to be there for the rest of my life and making $65,000, I would tell you to sell the car anyway. And I know your wife doesn't want to keep driving that. I get that. Y'all have a dollar amount situation that you got to deal with, a reality.
You gotta think about it this way. You said you're tired of driving the car, but you're about to be tired of being broke, man. Yeah. And I'd much rather you be tired of driving the car.
Yep.
And so make a good decision for your family. One day it can be your goal to get that car again when it makes sense for your income and your family, but right now you got a mess to clean up. Yeah. Appreciate your service, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, let's go to Amy in Dallas, Texas. Amy, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great. How can we help?
So I am in baby step 7.
Awesome.
32 years old. So, George, about the same age.
Boom. We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
Yeah, and so now I have 7 brothers and sisters, and I'm second to the youngest. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I get them to take my advice?
If you figure this out, Amy, you'll be a billionaire.
Yep. The short answer is you don't. And I can tell you that.
And my oldest sister, shout out Melissa, good job. But my oldest sister I got her Dave's latest book, Baby Step Millionaires, and she said every dollar app has been a lifesaver, and she's now got her husband on board. So I'm so happy, so ecstatic.
But the rest of
the other ones that are a little more hard-headed, and my adult nieces and nephews, I think I can convince them, like if I get them the teen stuff that you guys offer. But I want everyone in my family to just be able to feel how life-changing it is to be financially free and be able to do whatever you want.
So, Amy, Dave's talked about this. He's got a number of family members that don't even do this program. And I've got family members that I've bought the books for, and they don't do the program. So the reality is you can't be responsible for extended family members feeling the peace and joy that you have. What you can be responsible for is you living that out every single day. So they're around you. They see the kind of peace you have. They see the good decisions you're making. And you hope that people go, hey, I want some of that. What is that? And then you've got a copy of Total Money Makeover or Baby Step Millionaires you can hand them and then say, if you want to know more, let me know. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to lead by example, and they've got to get to a point where they're in so much financial pain, they go, well, Amy has so much peace. I'm just going to, all right, fine. Like, they're going to give in eventually, maybe, and maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they live their whole life and they never follow this stuff, and you got to love them regardless. That's how family is, and I'm in the same boat. I've got family members who I'm like, oh my gosh, how are they not doing this stuff?
Right.
But the best thing I can do is just lead by example and be encouraging to them in their situation and only offer help when they ask for it. But me going to my family, giving them unsolicited advice about their financial situation, like, they're not calling into the show. They're not interested in my advice, right? So you are amazing, and they're going to look down and go, wow, 32 years old with a paid-for house. If Amy did it, maybe I can too. I'm going to ask her how she did that. And that's the key.
Just keep
There's no
plugging
magic
along.
sauce.
Keep plugging along.
But if you figure it out, how to convince everyone around you to
holler
do
at
this
me.
stuff,
We'll write a book.
we will write a book together. I love it. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, host of the Fine Print Podcast, Season 1, available now on Ramsey Network and wherever you listen to podcasts. Joined today by Dr. John Deloney, who does his show way more often. Are you guys like 3 shows a week now, John?
Yep, we're running and gunning, man.
Wow. Well, I'm enjoying it. Team's doing a great job. You're doing a great job helping people. This is more long-form mental health, relationships, boundaries, a lot of things that we touch on the show, but you go deep with callers.
Yeah.
And I love the way you do it. You do it with humor.
Just
you do
the
it with
format
levity.
allows for a little bit longer conversation, but we love it, man.
So check that out on YouTube or podcast, wherever you like to check out that stuff. We're going to the phones now. Free call, 888-825-5225. Miriam joins us in Sacramento. Miriam, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, gentlemen. I have a question surrounding what I need to do, or what would be the best financial thing to do with regarding home purchase. My husband unexpectedly passed away 3 months ago.
Oh, man.
So sorry.
Miriam, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. He was 57.
What did he pass away from?
A heart attack.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to be 53 next month. We had already planned on, we both had pensions at our company, and we had already planned on retiring at the end of this year.
Oh,
and
gosh.
we were going to be actually moving to East Tennessee, as a matter of fact. And we had set ourselves up financially for that, and with pensions and 401ks and whatnot. However, now I'm in a situation where I do want to still continue that plan, although now I want to move it up by a couple of months. So right now I'm thinking probably September-ish timeframe. And my question is, because now I have approximately $650,000 in life insurance and both of our 401ks, which I realize I can't touch all of mine now because of my age. But I am trying to figure out if it is better financial sense to go ahead and purchase a home in Tennessee with, some of that money. And that way I don't have a contingency when I go to sell my home in California, or wait and go ahead and sell, in the summer, early fall time frame, use the equity from my home, which I estimate to be somewhere around $350,000 to $400,000, and then use that to purchase a home in Tennessee at that point.
What's the rush to get? What's here in Tennessee?
The rush in well, for one, I just want to retire, which was what we were, like I said, planning on doing this year anyway.
Sure.
We were both ready.
But what's
the
in
only reason
Tennessee?
we were going to wait. Tennessee is closer to where I grew up in Indiana.
Okay.
But it's also where two of my one daughter and son-in-law are planning on going, and they have grandkids. So then, or I have grandkids.
Sure.
They have the children. So then that way I'd be close to them.
Okay.
So
can I'm going to say some things that are hard. Okay. Is that okay?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So, man, you're obviously the love of your life passes away suddenly at 57. The devastation there is clear, right? And we all experience that. What most will blow by, and I know is weighing on you heavily, is y'all had plans.
Yep, we did.
Like, y'all breathe the same air. And how long were y'all married?
18 years married, 20 together.
There you go. So, you were together for 2 decades. So he's an arm and a leg of yours at this point, and vice versa. Yep. And y'all had plans. And the decoupling that loss and that grief and that I'm the heartbroken, I've lost my life partner, I've lost half of me, is one thing. And then having to do the hard work of saying, we had plans together, but what are my plans going to be going forward? And what I've seen over the past 2 decades is people will try to continue the plan that, quote unquote, we had, and then get somewhere and realize this isn't what I want to do with the back half of my life. And you're only halfway done, sister, right?
Yeah, right.
You're halfway done. And so the generic common wisdom I tell anybody is don't do anything for 6 to 9 months or a year. Just sit. What's complex about that is you live in California. I know you want to leave, and I want to high five you there too, right? So it's a little bit faster. You telling me, hey, I've got grandkids, I'd want to make sure they're going to move there before I packed up. And you know what I mean? So there's a lot of moving variables that, man, we can go all in when it's both of us. Because even if the kids don't show up, forget you guys. We live in East Tennessee. It's beautiful. It's cool. And we don't have income tax. If you're now moving because they're probably going to move there, or maybe, or see what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it. They are moving. They've actually made the decision that even if they don't transfer with the same company system that they are currently in and I'm in, they're going anyway. And it's largely due to, obviously, the state of California.
Sure.
And what's being shoved down all of our throats.
Right. So why not move next month?
It's just a matter of when.
What?
Oh, yeah, no. So I should have qualified this. I should have said that I'm not looking to do this immediately right now. I'm looking to wait and make my decision until probably April, May-ish. And the reason for that is because my son-in-law will be finding out around that time if he is able to go ahead and move to our sister company there. So,
okay.
But again, they're still going to go regardless.
So
my thing too with moving out of California is when I moved here from Indiana, I never planned on staying more than a year or two, but I got into a retirement system that has, been going to be very lucrative for me. But I have not wanted to stay here for the 30 years I've been here.
Gotcha.
I've been itching to get out, and now I'm finally at that point where I'm old enough to retire, mostly due to my husband with military pension and, just regular pension and that sort of thing. So I'm blessed in that sense.
Great.
But I'm ready. I've been ready to go. We were ready to go, but I've been ready longer than him because I've been in California longer, not wanting to be here. If that makes sense. I
love it. So, Mike, George, speaking of this, I would take that life insurance money and park it in a simple index fund. If you're going to buy a house over the next 6 months, I would sit it right there. I would love to see you sell your house and take that equity to buy a house instead of holding 2 houses and have something happen in the interim.
Yeah, exactly. I would wait until your plans are more firm, sell the house. I would use the equity. And with the life insurance money, like John's saying, I would invest that with index funds, or you can work with a SmartVestor Pro and they can walk with you through the best way to invest that money so that, the life insurance is made so that you can live off of that money in case something happens. And so we want to make sure it's invested wisely so that you could peel a certain percentage off of that every year and use that to supplement your income so that you can have a great retirement. If that's your plan. So,
but you have an automatic draw out of his 401s and whatnot, right?
Currently, I'm only receiving his pension because as it stands right now, because I'm still working 100% time, I make enough that I don't have to dip into any of that.
Great.
So, and that's with a mortgage, in California. So when I go to Tennessee and effectively have no mortgage, I'm not going to have to touch the 401s or life insurance or anything.
Yeah. So you'll just live off the pension.
Happens.
So that may change it. If you get some firm plans here in a couple of months with your in-laws, I mean, in your kids, then yeah, if you've got the pension set up to where you're living off that money, and you want to go ahead and buy it, I'd be okay with that if you've got this steady income stream coming through.
And I would do it with cash. You have the money. I would purchase a home in cash when you do decide to move. And, with that life insurance being invested, it's still a wise idea. And with that 401k, you may want to look at rolling that over to an IRA so that you have some control over that. So I would work with a financial advisor just to walk with you through this process and make sure that, the legacy that you guys have built with this money is well spent, well taken care of, well invested.
Yeah. We absolutely love you, and we'll be with you every step of the way here. So don't hesitate to call us back. I would love you to see you the next 3 months. Start dreaming about what do I, Miriam, want this to look like. Yeah. And that's going to be hard and heartbreaking and grief-filled, but also beautiful and optimistic and joy-filled as you begin to turn that new corner of what the rest of your life is going to be. Heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to Ben running the board today, Austin phone screening, and Kelly Daniel, our producer. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, your host, joined today by Ramsey personality Dr. John Deloney. It's a free call. Phone lines are open, 888-825-5225. You give us a call, and we will talk about whatever you want. John is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just here for entertainment. Should be a good time.
That's a low entertainment bar and a really low knowledge bar.
But it's Friday. Dave's gone. He's probably golfing.
And
so let's just have fun.
the calls are free.
That's right. You have nothing to lose except time.
Exactly.
We got plenty of that.
And a couple of brain cells. Give us a shout.
All right. Let's see what Rob has to say in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Rob, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great. How can we help today?
I'm in the middle of baby step 2 while also saving for a wedding. And
congrats,
I have
man.
A car that's fully. Thank you. I have a car that's fully paid off that I paid $16.5 for, and it's now worth $19.5. So I was thinking of selling that, using that money to finish off the wedding savings, which is only $3,000. And then I wanted to attack my student loans with the rest of that, but I wasn't sure how much to save for another car.
How much do you have in student loans?
$26,000.
And you need to save another $3,000 for the wedding.
But $3,000 is left to save for that.
How soon is the wedding?
It's in December.
Oh, okay. You got plenty of time.
Bro,
to
save your money and keep your car, dude.
Really?
Convince me otherwise.
The car, here's the thing. When it comes to selling the car, it's not going to create any cash flow because you don't have a payment on it. So it's not going to make you money except for what you get for it. And you're still going to have to go buy another car in this market, which could be, $8-10 grand, right?
Right.
Which leaves you with $10 after all said and done and all the effort you're putting into selling this car. So the question is, can you save up $10 and avoid having to sell the car quickly? What's your income?
$50,000.
Okay. And what do you have in debt total? Is it just the student loans or is there something else?
No, just the student loans.
Okay. Well, do you know if your fiance has debt?
She's debt free.
Awesome. Well, making $50K, you're going to easily be able to save up the $3K for the wedding, right?
Right.
We'll put that in savings. Are you guys paying for this all on your own?
A third her parents, a third my parents, and a third us.
Okay. And she's chipping in some, and you're chipping in some here. Your part is $3K. That's left. Okay. I think you can save up for this wedding, and then go hard on the student loans until the wedding happens.
What is it? What is it about this car you want to sell it?
I was just thinking that would be the quickest way to get the student loans out of my life, and then I could just get by with a cheaper car for now.
Do you have a cheaper car in mind?
No, but I was looking, and it seems like the floor in this market is like $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah,
everything's up now.
Like a Fred Flintstone car with no engines, $3,000 right now.
Pretty much.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem. If you want to sell a car, you don't want it anymore, and it's going to clear all of your debts and whatever, and you can go get a car that's going to get you from here and there. That's not going to hurt my feelings. I like go ahead.
Yeah, my other thing is that I work from home now, and I don't really use the car as is.
Okay. Yeah, well then sell it then, man. Sell it. I mean, like George said, you're not going to be solving a long-term problem, but I do understand the impetus to feel like I could expedite the next year of my life, pay off my student loans, go into my marriage debt-free, get the $3,000 for the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I'm in your shoes, personally, I would sell it.
Yeah, I would too.
Because I don't care about driving a nice car. My car costs $6,000. I've driven it for 5 years now. I have no real intention or urgency to get a new one.
And I just tried to sell my car to George off air, but that's for between $4,000 and $8,000.
Making deals.
We're not car guys.
So, I mean, I love the hustle from Rob here, wanting to get the cash, wanting to pay down this debt quickly, and really setting yourself up for some amazing success in marriage when you guys start this thing off debt-free, if you can do that. So I'm all for it, but there's no fire where I'm going, dude, you got to sell the car.
No.
So it's your decision either way, and if it's going to give you the motivation to get rid of this debt fast, then I'm for it. Final answer.
Just know what you're trading. You're going to be trading a $17,000 car, or $20,000 car basically, for whatever you can scrounge together for $8 to $10,000.
It's a good question. Congrats on the wedding, man. Amber joins us in Indianapolis. Amber, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call today.
Absolutely.
I just have a quick question. My husband and I got married last year, and we're sitting at baby step 4. We're both in our early 30s, and we're kind of getting the mindset of preparing financially for kids in a house within the next few years, but we've both only rented and never actually owned a house. So we're trying to get ready to prepare for a down payment and save for that. But a savings account and a CD they feel stable, but not necessarily a lot of room for growth.
Sorry, you're cutting out, Amber. Speak directly in your phone. That's okay.
Sorry about that.
So you're saying you want to see some growth here. You don't want to just park it in savings and watch it move at 0.5%.
Yeah, and I looked a little bit into Roth IRAs and saw, obviously, there's the tax part of it where you're not necessarily being taxed on withdrawals, but and there seemed to be an exception for first-time house buyers to take, I think, up to $10,000 in earnings, and you could also take contributions out. But just wanted to get your guys' sense of if a Roth IRA is a beneficial way of doing it, and also while also getting that growth, especially if we're looking to purchase within, let's say, the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Well, I would not recommend saving up for the house in a Roth IRA. That is a retirement vehicle, and there are just better options out there. One would be an index fund. That's a simple way to save up for a house that's going to grow, and you can invest in some great index funds there. And when we were saving up for a house, we worked with a SmartVestor Pro. We put our money in some good growth stock mutual funds, and that really helped us for those few years that we were saving up. So if you're talking a 3 to 5 year timeline, I'm totally good with you investing that money. And if there's any urgency of, hey, we need to do it in 3 years, then I would say, hey, you might want to look for a safer solution like a high yield savings account. But if we're talking 3 to 5 years and you've got some wiggle room there, I would be parking it in index funds or mutual funds in just a taxable account, not a Roth IRA.
Yeah. Think of it, I like your analogy, George. Think about it like maybe at the beginning of the year when people were struggling to find rental cars, and they would just go get a U-Haul box truck and drive it across country to wherever they were going instead of renting a car. A vehicle will get you there. That's not the right vehicle.
Yes.
Right. It's uncomfortable. It's the chances of things going sideways. It's just not the right car.
Yeah. And you can invest in the same mutual funds that you would in your Roth IRA. There's some great options out there that will still give you, a 9, 10, 11, 12%. We're seeing some great returns, obviously, lately in the market, and that could change. But if you've got a 3 to 5 year time horizon, the roller coaster at the end of the day will still have trended up. Mm-hmm. But if you're telling me you want to do this a year from now, well, we could see a down market a year from now, and you've lost money, and now you're trying to get this house. But I love the spirit of you guys wanting to make sure that you're doing this wisely. And the best way to do it is with index funds or mutual funds. And you can get connected with a Smart Investor Pro at RamseySolutions.com, and they can help you get all of that sorted out. Great question. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess? With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
There is a lot of hype going on in the real estate market right now. Buyers are feeling the pressure to buy and to buy right now. And with all the talk about interest rates going up, buyers are frantic to lock in now while rates are hanging out in the 2% range. Don't get me wrong, rates probably won't get any cheaper than that, but that doesn't give you the green light to do stupid, as in buying before you're debt-free or with a 0 down payment, or offering way over asking price and waiving inspections. Stuff like that is high risk and always cost you in the long run. It's easy to get caught in the hype, but get your head out of the craziness for a second and look at the facts. Are you debt-free? Do you have a down payment of 10 to 20%? Can you afford home ownership? A mortgage, insurance, taxes, maintenance? If and only if your answer is a big fat yes to all of those questions, does it mean that buying a home is a smart move for you right now? Once you've answered those questions, it's time to look at some cold, hard numbers. And one of my favorite tools is our free mortgage calculator tool at RamseySolutions.com/free tools. You can see exactly what your home ownership options are based on your budget. Even if you're not there yet, start dreaming, figure out what those numbers are for you. You can go to RamseySolutions.com/ and click on free tools and check out the mortgage calculator. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. Ken joins us in Seattle, Washington. Ken, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John and George. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. How can we help?
Yeah, I wanted to run by a home purchase question for you guys.
Oh, perfect.
To start. Yeah.
I was just talking about
my wife and I were thinking about having another child, and so we're looking for a bigger space. And that part's pretty straightforward. The income part is there's a tiny wrinkle there. I work in big tech. So about half of my income comes through the form of equity and stocks. They're granted to me, but they don't vest month to month. Sometimes they vest maybe once a quarter. And so my question is, I just wanted to run through some numbers with you guys to see if this upcoming home is stupid or if it makes sense.
This is a fun game. Let's play. Hit us with the numbers.
Okay, so right now, the home that I live in, it's about 1,600 square foot. It's fully paid off, and it's worth around $900,000.
Fantastic.
The home that I'm looking to purchase is going to be around 3,000 square foot, so a little bit less than half or double the space, and it's going to float around $2 million.
Okay.
The income is $500,000 a year. $250,000 of that comes through the form of equity, and so For me, I feel a little bit uncomfortable going 15 years. I was thinking the monthly, the mortgage is going to be higher than 25% of my take home. So one idea I had was working a 30-year just to lower the monthly payments, but then at the end of the year, dumping all my equity right into the principal and trying to pay off the house in about 4 years, even though I'm having a 30-year mortgage.
What is driving the urgency right now? Like how long could you wait technically before jumping into a new house?
Well, we're thinking about trying for kids probably in the summer. So that's probably the biggest factor. It would just be a little cramped. We could still make it work, but another fear is also that prices are going to go up.
Sure. Well, and your house would go up too. So right, it would they move together. Walk me through your equity plan. It sounds like it's more of a bonus structure than an equity plan. Or do you sell your equity every year?
Yeah. So how big tech works is for your compensation, there is stock that is awarded to you. You don't pay a dime for it. It's not like an employee purchase program. You could sell it right away if you want, or if you hold it, it can potentially grow.
Correct.
The company that I work for is a publicly traded company. It's been around for 20 years, and the stock grows at about 30% a year. So I've been holding on to it, and I can sell it any time, essentially.
So George, and push back on me. I don't want to consider that take-home pay. So if you're making $500,000 a year, you get $250,000 in cash to take home. Let me take it out of big tech and give you an example. So when I worked at one of the universities I worked at, part of my package came with a salary, and it came with a home because I'm on campus in the middle of the night, 24/7, 365, and it also came with my kids could go to college for free, okay, or at some discounted rate. When I put that on paper, my total compensation was robust. But I couldn't count that I can't send that IOU to my electric bill, right, or to my mortgage company. So I've got to sit down and look at how much cash am I getting every month. You see what I'm saying? So I get the total compensation. I wouldn't factor that into my home purchase price. Unless you want to go ahead and sell what you've got and liquidate it and have $1 million. I don't know how much equity you've built up in your in the company equity. But if you want to sell that now and cash it out, I mean, I guess you could do that. But do you see what I'm driving at?
I think so, yeah. Just the fear of losing your job and then not having those stocks actually vest.
But if you have a paid-for $2 million house, we're not really worried about stocks at that point. So I'm wondering how much stocks could you sell off right now? How much could you make?
I have about $750,000 worth of stock, but based on the trend that it's growing, that can easily blossom to $1 million by September.
And in big tech, it could easily go to $250,000 by September too. Is that fair?
I mean, based off the trends for the past 5 to 10 years, it's Amazon, so it's been doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that money can grow.
I'll give you Amazon.
But, when you're asking us, should I take out $1 million mortgage, and I can't in good faith tell you to do that, even with your amazing income. But if you're saying, hey, you know what, I could sell off $400,000-500,000 in stocks to where it would be 25% of my take-home pay on a 15-year fixed, that's what I would be doing if I was in your shoes. I would be saying, how much stock, what's the least amount of stock I can sell off to where this is the right financial decision for my actual reality take-home pay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And I think the part that I've probably left out is I have 20% saved in cash right now, so $400,000, and I was going to sell this home and put that all towards the principal. So I wasn't going to
you'd have 1.3 to put down.
Well, now we've got a whole different equation because now you've got a $700,000 mortgage with $250,000 a year salary.
Yeah, just in cash, yes.
Right.
Yeah. I still would play around with that calculator, make sure that it's 25% or less so that you have the margin to pay this thing off early, which you're going to be able to do, and you're going to be, a multimillionaire if you're not already, which is incredible. So you've done really well. I just want to make sure that we don't step into a decision quickly and you go, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I got $1 million mortgage right now. I would sell off just enough stock to where I could get it under 25% and then aggressively attack that thing.
So 25% is kind of the baseline no matter what. It's the ceiling, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if it's 25.5%, we're not going to yell at you. This is a guideline. This is not, we're not trying to be fundamentalists here. I just want to make sure that we make a decision that's right for your future and not just for your present. And this is going to set you up in an amazing way.
No, it's congratulations.
How old are you, Ken?
34.
Holy crap.
Wow.
My man is crushing it.
Yeah,
Way to go,
dude,
Ken.
Fantastic. And again, George, when we tell somebody who's making that kind of money with that kind of return that the principle still applies, like even though the numbers get to be monopoly money, that the principles still apply. We say this all the time, but math is math is math is math. And I always go back to my mom worked for Enron, dude, and it was the Amazon of the day. It was the biggest company. It was massive. It was doing all this stuff. And then one day it just didn't exist. Is that rare? Of course it's rare. But when you've got a fully paid for $900,000, basically $1 million house, you got $400,000 in the bank, like, man, take your time and do it right. Yeah. And don't get over creative. The thing I want you to recognize here, man, Ken, is you're going to have to make a concession on one of these things. You can't get all of the growth and make a super safe, smart purchase, and you're gonna have to concede on one of these. So it might be I'm gonna concede a little bit of the stock and the growth that might or might not happen for what I know is to be a safe purchase to put me and my family in the best long-term position.
And look at it this way: if you had $500,000 cash, would you go, I'm going all in on Amazon stock? Probably not.
Exactly.
And so that tells me I'm okay selling off that much to make sure that I get into this house and there's no financial stress in our family, only financial peace. But way to go, Ken. 34 years old, multimillionaire. I love to hear that.
It's awesome, man.
This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined today by Ramsey personality Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls. Phone lines are open. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Raphael joins us in Palm Springs, California. Raphael, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great. How can John and I help?
Good. So I had two questions. So the first question was I wanted to know how not having a credit score would affect your interest rate on a mortgage. And then the second question has to do with building a house over buying a house. So my wife and I, we live in California right now. We're looking to move out of state within a couple of years, and we're looking to move to like Oklahoma, Tennessee, Missouri, something like that, somewhere where it's kind of cheap to buy land.
Okay.
And so we were wondering if it's better to buy a house already or to save up money and to kind of just go through a home construction process when we finally find where we want to live.
Well, there's pros and cons to both. I'll tell you, me and John have vastly different experiences. He bought some land. He's got a house. I did new construction in a suburban neighborhood here, and so very different experiences. I like the new construction process. Number one, because it gave us built-in time to save up, because you lock in the house for a certain price and then you still have 6, 8, 12 months while they build it before you close and have to pay up. And so I like that about it. I do like that you get to choose the fixtures, and so if you guys are very particular versus having to gut a house when you get in, you say I hate the cabinets, I hate the carpets, I hate the paint. I'm not a DIY guy. John is, America's Chip Gaines, so he doesn't mind doing all that.
Chip Gaines is America's Chip Gaines, and hey, I hate the idea of building something. That makes me. I've built built buildings in part of my other jobs.
Not single-handedly.
Yeah. No, been a part of the process with architects. And man, I'd rather just move into a house that I love. That's just me. And if we have to do some DIY stuff at a house, I love that. But yeah, in Georgia are just different, so it's a personal preference thing.
So on that side, there's pros and cons to both. You got to stay on top of the builders. There's going to be issues. There's going to be things they do wrong, and so you have to babysit. It's like a part-time job to follow the construction process and make sure you're like a project manager in that regard. So there's nothing wrong with either, but you guys have to decide what's right for you guys. And on the credit score side, I actually did the manual underwriting process on this home, and I had the same question as you, because a lot of people that push back on our plan, they go, well, you're going to get a terrible interest rate. And I actually asked the lender, I said, well, how does this work? If I do manual underwriting, the no-score loan, how does that affect the interest rate? And they said, well, based on your financial situation, if you have a good down payment, we basically treat your credit score as good.
Mm-hmm. And I just did a refi on my house and did the same process and got a stellar interest rate. And I have no idea what my credit score is.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked. And so
it's a myth that your interest rate is going to be a lot higher. Now, could it be 0.25% lower, higher? I mean, yes, there's variables in here, but living without a credit score is not as hard as people make it seem. I had a great experience with mine. There wasn't a ton of extra paperwork involved. It was a pretty seamless process.
And Raphael, you asked a question about whether you should buy a house now and save up money to move later, or to just save up your money and rent now. Walk me through that question one more time.
Oh no, we're planning on moving out of the state. So we live in California right now. We're planning on moving to a different state. And this
wait,
is
why would you leave California? Just kidding. Go ahead.
It's absolutely perfect here, but no, but
Do you know where exactly you want to be? Because that's my only thing. Is I would choose it more based on location and do we have kids and where's the schools at and where's all the shopping, because we want to be around the action. I would base it more around that versus are we going to buy new or pre-existing home.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily buying new. I guess buying new in the sense of the construction part of it, but it's more so my wife wants to have like a house that she wants to have, as opposed to buying a house for all this tons amounts of money and then having to fix everything how she wants to have it. So she was thinking just going through the new construction process, and that way getting to customize the house exactly how she wanted it to have.
Yeah, my wife was the same exact way. She wants to choose the fixtures and the flooring and what does this look like. And, man, I'll tell you, my brain was racked trying to choose grout color for, like, the 7th room. And I was like, I don't even care anymore, man. It was just so many details.
Linoleum, baby.
Yeah.
Roll it out.
But either way, it's good. But, again, this sounds like a personal decision for you guys, and it sounds like you're leaning towards new construction so that you do have more flexibility. But you might look around and go, we found an awesome house that we love as is, or we just need to paint one room and we're good. Right. So do your research and make sure that house is well under your take-home pay so that you guys aren't underwater. But from California to Tennessee, man,
you're good.
There is freedom and money.
That's right.
I love it. All right, Ryan is on the line in Jupiter, Florida. Ryan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you, guys. Nice to talk to you today. How you guys doing?
You as well. How can we help?
We're good, man.
Well, this may seem like a silly question, but my wife and I are both retired. We're totally debt-free, cars, house, everything. But we have this habit of 3 or 4 times a week we go to our favorite coffee shop, which has stores worldwide. And I drive up, we order our coffee. I go to the drive-up window, they scan my app, and they give me my coffee. And after so many cups of coffee, I get a free cup of coffee. Am I doing this right, or should I pay cash or?
Well, there's a simple framework for this, and I'm going to just go ahead and guess you're talking about Starbucks.
Well, yeah.
Okay. They have like the most per capita in Florida, so that's why I guess. Listen,
we're on to you, Ryan.
I do the same thing, and here's the easiest way to look at it. Is it in the budget? Do we have a coffee budget because we love coffee and we're just going to say we're going to go 3 to 4 times a week and we planned for it? Or are we letting the rewards drive our spending decisions? That's the difference we have to parse out. Because truthfully, if that free cup of coffee, it's what, $2? I mean, I don't know what you're ordering. A fancy latte?
No, just a cup of coffee.
Attaboy, Ryan.
Just black coffee.
Attaboy, Ryan.
I had a habit of that a few years back in the old Ramsey building. I would stop every day on my way to work, and it was budgeted for, and I would get my grande black coffee for $2.61. And you better believe that was in the budget. Yep. And so as long as it's planned for, you don't have to feel guilty about it. And the rewards, you're not going into debt for this coffee. So there's no guilt around the reward system. But don't let that drive you to go, well, I'm going to spend $20 at Starbucks so I can get a $2 cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
Right. My other side of the question is, I can download money into the app. Should I use my credit card or should I be using my...
Hold on. Ryan.
You're
using a credit card?
That was a stupid question.
You let the cat out of the bag.
Your debit card, yes. Just load it up, man. It just works the same.
Yeah, what I do is I keep enough on there, and then if I don't have enough money for my next purchase, I reload it with another $10. But I'm not going to preload it with $150 either, you know?
Yeah.
But if you want to preload it with whatever's in your budget, you say $50 in the budget this month for Starbucks.
Load it up, man.
Load it up with $50, and if you run out, sorry, time to make some coffee at home.
In fact, I could see that being a great way to control overspending there, right? Is I'm going to put my coffee budget on this prepaid app, and when it's gone, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm with that. That's a great question, though, because there's still the mental game and the rewards and the gamification. This can drive us to make some poor financial decisions.
Well, I could see somebody who said, okay, I'm going to get rid of my credit card with points because I don't want to live the points game, and then go, oh, but I'm getting coffee points over here. Is that okay? And one of those, you mentioned it, one of these is going into debt with the promise I'll pay you back in 28 days. This one is, dude, this is your money, and if you just keep being a repeat customer, we want to throw you a little cup of coffee every once in a while.
I'm not even really paying attention to if my rewards are at the point where I get a free drink. Once in a while, I'll go, oh, okay, my wife's getting a fancy drink. Let's go ahead and use the reward.
Right.
That's another thing. Take advantage of that. If I get the free reward, it's good for anything at Starbucks. So I make the craziest drink possible just to make the baristas mad. I'm like, I'll do 8 shots. I'll take every pump of whatever you got. Give me the fanciest, most expensive oat milk you have back there. And they're like, cool, that'll be $9. And I'm like, sweet, I'm using my reward. $0.
I don't ever make baristas mad because they control your life.
That is true. That is very true. I'm not that
Treat
aggressive.
your baristas.
But Starbucks has a range. You can either get a $2 drink or a $9 drink. You get to make the choice. I tend to go to the cheap side, John. You know me.
That's me too.
You know me. Black coffee will do. I'm there for the caffeine.
Oh, I just get water from the hose out back.
Now, Ken Coleman, he likes a white chocolate mocha. I'll have you know, America. He's a fancy man. I love it. Good conversation. Not one that anyone needs to have, but we had it anyways. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print podcast, joined today by my friend, I think you'd call me a friend, Dr. John Deloney.
Most days I do.
Most days. Today is that day. And we are taking your calls. It's a free one, 888-825-5225. Melissa joins us from Fort Worth, Texas. Melissa, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can John and I help?
Hi, so I recently was looking at my credit score, and I noticed a couple of credit cards that I didn't know about. There was 5 of them, and the only person that I can think of that has my Social Security is my mother. I confronted her about these cards. She confirmed that she took them out. I was not aware of any of this. So I'm just calling to kind of just get some advice on what I should do about this situation.
Yikes. What's your relationship with your mom?
We're really close.
Not as close as you thought.
I know, yeah. So I just recently found out a couple weeks ago, and so just kind of figuring out what
was her reasoning for violating your trust like this, from stealing from her daughter?
She told me that they were kind of struggling with money, and at the time, my credit score was actually, decent, and so she was just used those credit cards that you get in the mail type of thing. Yeah. She just kind of applied to those the easiest way.
Does she have any kind of addiction? What is she spending all this money on?
She was just saying I didn't really, in the moment, I didn't ask exactly what. I was just kind of just hurt by the situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
But she was just saying that she was in a really bad place and just was really struggling financially, and that's what she did.
So Melissa, I'm not going to talk bad about your mom. I will a little bit, but I'm not going to. I'm going to talk more about this full picture here. Okay.
Okay.
Your trust and the sanctity of your Social Security number was stolen from you and compromised. A crime was committed. You got that?
Yes.
And I know that's hard, but your mother committed a crime, and you are the victim.
Yeah,
and
no, I definitely,
this would be such a major trust violation for me, because it was done behind your back with full knowledge that they were stealing from you, and there's two people on the planet that can't ever do that, and that's mom and dad, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So if I'm you, I would go to the Social Security number office and change my number. I would tell my mom this is a major trust violation, major, and it's going to cost you a bunch of mess, and if you have to pay for it, I would tell her, because I've lost your trust and I have to go do this, I'm asking you to pay for any of the fines and fees or whatever it's going to cost to change my Social Security number. I would let my mom know you cannot have this, and if there's any sort of anything, then the next step is I'm going to file a police report. And I know that sounds really rough because that's your mom, but you got to understand that you are simply responding to a crime that was committed, and not like being ugly to your mom. Your mom started this, and now she dropped this in your lap, and you have to create the boundaries and deal with this.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that's so hard because you thought you had a good relationship with your mom. You're going to have to grieve that relationship because it's not what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And I hate that for you.
It's okay.
Hey.
No.
It's not. It's not okay. Because I get how, I'm just thinking if I was to show up and do this, I can't even wrap my head around how heartbroken I would be if I found out my mom had done this.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
No, that's kind of what I've been processing.
That's right.
Melissa, you also need to go ahead and freeze your credit with all three bureaus so that no one, including your mom, can open any kind of trade lines with your name and Social Security number. That is your A1. Do you currently use a credit card?
Yeah, I currently have one. And so it was like recently, and kind of new at looking at my credit and stuff. And so when I saw the cards, I was just like, whoa, I almost just have one.
Yeah.
And when I saw the others, I was like, yeah.
That's actually a great point, George. I would pull my credit. Is there any other charges? Like, is there a home equity loan taken out with your credit card, or is there other lines of credit taken out?
No. Yeah,
okay, with your Social Security number?
I started looking at everything else. No,
Okay.
it's 5 cards.
Okay.
How much debt is on your account now?
All the cards collectively is about $6,000.
Okay. Well, she needs to pay that off, whether that's giving you the money because you have access to the account. That's probably the safest way to do it. But I don't want these lingering, going to collections all under your name on your record. So you've got some cleanup to do.
Does she have the money to pay you?
That's what I had a conversation with her about it. I told her that I want her to pay for all this.
Absolutely.
And,
I want.
I personally don't want to. I feel like I shouldn't.
No.
You're not paying a dime of this.
No.
That's
I would tell her,
enabling her.
you have 60 days to get $6,000, or I'm going to have to make a police report because I got to go get a new Social Security number, and I got to file on my credit report that these are fraudulent charges. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's a firm boundary, and that your mom will say, oh, my gosh, you're going to do that to us? We're struggling? Yes. Because if you'd asked me for $6,000 and said we are broke and we are starving, you might have been able to help. But you stole from me.
Absolutely.
You stole from me, and now you changed the relationship boundaries here. So I'd give her a deadline. I didn't even think about that, George. I'm sorry, I missed that. You've got to, she's got to pay this back in this time frame, and then we're changing directions here.
Yeah, I mean it's either she pays up or there's legal ramifications because you're not touching that.
Yeah.
Because then she's going to go, oh, sweet. That was a free $6,000 I just got on my spending spree.
Yeah.
Or she's going to go take out a car loan because the car is going to break, and she'll just get a note, but honey, she'll pay you. And there's no end to where this thing ends because she's got your number. She's got your ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a pain to go change your Social Security number across all of your different forms and this and that. And that's the world you're in, and I hate that for you, but it happened.
Yeah, tough situation. All right, let's go to Kevin in Denver. Kevin, we've got time for a quick call here. What's your question?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Quick question for you. So did an estimate with our tax guy just to prepare for taxes. We've been blessed and income has been going up. We think we're going to have about an $8,000 to $10,000 payment for our taxes. And so obviously that'll be finalized once we get all our forms and everything, but that's our estimate. We're in our last debt of baby step 2, which is about $30,000 to pay off. Original budget had that plan to pay off by end of April. The question is, the plan I have is to stop making payments on that until I have about 8 to 10 in the bank, just preparation for tax payment. We're disciplined enough to hold that money. We're not going to spend it. But
excellent.
I just wanted to get your guys' take on, is that the right thing to do? I don't want to be in a pickle, obviously, for that tax bill.
Yes.
But
IRS debt is at the top of the list when it comes to your debt snowball. And so this is your new priority, is to get this thing taken care of because you don't want the IRS after you. So I would make it a priority to save up. And if you need to file an extension, whatever you can do to buy yourself time in order to do this and not go over any of the deadlines, that's what you need to do. So, and make sure you're working with your tax pro to go, how can I avoid ever having a $10,000 tax bill again?
Yeah. But I love that idea. If you and your wife are disciplined enough to hang on to that 8 to 10 grand, I love the idea of pausing it, stack up that cash, and hopefully it comes back and it's only $6,000 and you can dump the rest towards your debt. But that's a great idea, I think.
Yeah. And be conservative.
Okay.
Park more than you need for now, and then like John said, you can throw the rest of the debt. Continue on with the debt snowball. But man, that's a tough situation. It's tax time, people.
Tax
Get this
time.
stuff taken care of.
Hey, by the way, it's in April, so start now.
Yeah, you know it's coming.
Start now. You know it's coming.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to Ben Hill running the board today, Austin Selby screening the phones, and Kelly Daniel, our producer. We will be back with you before you know it. Until then, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money, your career, your work, your relationships, your mental health, and your life. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined today by Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. And we are here for you, America. Give us a call. Phone lines are open, 888-825-5225. There's no silly questions here. Maybe you need some confirmation. Maybe you're at a fork in the road with your life, your career. You're not sure what to do. You've got a question about budgeting, about a relationship. We are happy to take your call. Tammy starts us off this hour in Wichita, Kansas. Tammy, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi there. I have been in a long process through a divorce, and it was just finalized here a couple of weeks ago after 27 years.
Oh, Tammy, I'm so sorry. What happened?
Thank you. A lot of bad choices on his part that resulted in more than one family. So
I'm so sorry.
So it's been a long 2 years. Sorry, just got choked up on that one.
No, I'm sorry. That's a hard. Oh, jeez Louise.
How can we help you
but
today?
The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good and faithful. So my question is, with that taken care of, finished finally, and me starting this process of moving forward, I've been had a career when we were first together, left that, helped him with his business, had children, raised, homeschooled all the way through, just sold our property. Finally, the Lord said I needed to release that to move forward, so I did. Sold that, split off everything. There was a huge IRS mess that I discovered that I worked for the last few years trying to get out of, and thankfully the Lord surrounded me with a really good tax team to protect me. So there was 1 year that I was bound to that came off the top of the house being sold. So everything else for me was done individual. So I'm not bound to that. And then the rest of the house for his portion went to go satisfy the mess that was tied to him.
Great.
So hopefully that's all done. And I still have now a nest egg, but I'm starting at, 49 years old and didn't finish college because started raising my family, homeschooling, helping him with his business and, doing that road. So no, nothing set up for retirement, nothing set up for down the road. Even through working, I've always been in management or leadership or chairing committees or fundraising, even in the volunteer world, with, all the things that we were always involved in. So
what's your question? How can we help?
I'm trying to figure out what to do with this check I have for my house. And then also with, I'm getting monthly support for the next probably 6 years,
okay.
Provided he doesn't fight that. And trying to think, do I go back to school? Do I start a career? What do I do with this check that I'm, down the road? I might want to buy a house. I'm renting right now for a year or two just to let things settle.
Good. What's that check?
And
what's it worth?
Right now it's $327. My only debt right now is about $7,300 left on my car, which I'll pay right off the top once I cash it.
Yeah. I absolutely love that you have in your soul, I'm going to rent for a year. Because the grief from this is going to roll off of you for years, right?
Yeah.
And the what's next is going to roll off. One of the things that I didn't understand this until I just sat with so many and talked to so many. There is the devastation that somebody that you were close to would do this, hurt you in this way, right? But there's the equal devastation, and I've heard it in a couple of things you said, I even wrote them down, is you don't trust you anymore. How could I have not seen this? How could I have not done something about this when I thought I could have saw something, right? And you mentioned in your call, I'm 49, I don't have any college degree. You're already setting up reasons why you can't go make the back half of the next 50 years magical. And I need you to hear me say, you got burned. You got absolutely run over. And that doesn't mean you're not worth being well. It doesn't mean you're worth anything less. In fact, I want you to stand up tall and stare this grief in the face, get some people to walk alongside you as you walk through this grief, and it's going to be brutal. And you've got a year to pay your rent. Hopefully that the child support, the support comes through. Can you live off that support check? Can it pay your rent and your bills?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to, be wise with it. And thankfully, throughout the last 3 years of this whole process, I was getting double that. So I was able to pay down all my debt. I was able to pay off our house, which is what we were able to use to satisfy the IRS thing. And I tried to keep some of the Ramsey principles in my head, even though I took the course, he never did, so you can't run it by yourself.
Of course.
So I tried to really focus on improving the house, getting it ready to sell the ranch. It was a ranch, and getting it ready to sell and doing all that and getting my debt down.
And you're going to have to grieve the sale of a ranch too, right? Like everything's different.
My ranch, I sold my ranch and my dad died the same day.
Oh my gosh. Do you have some people you can walk alongside here?
I do. I've been surrounded by amazing people. Amazing people.
Good.
So Tammy, do you have any other money in savings or anything?
I'm just trying to figure out the next step. I have cash that I've been putting aside because, again, I didn't know if he was going to stop paying, keep paying, not paying, sold some things.
So how much cash do you have?
Oh gosh, with moving and everything, I haven't counted it, but I'm thinking probably maybe around 15.
15,000?
Between 10 and 15. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So with the 327 and the 15, that puts you in a really good spot. I'm going to pay off this car immediately. I'd probably just keep the 15 as an emergency fund. I'm guessing that's what that would be.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
So that'll cover 3 to 6 months of expenses for you?
Right.
And then you said you didn't have a nest egg? Do you have any retirement?
Well, the check from no, because I homeschooled my kids all the way through. I mean,
Hey,
no.
Don't apologize for that. We are.
Oh, I don't know. I am proud of it.
Good.
I am proud of my girls. I'm thankful for the life that I was able to do that and pour the Lord into them.
Love it.
No, I have no regrets on any of that. I'm just trying to be realistic about where I am now moving forward.
That's right. Yes. So let's take off. I know this is hard, but let's bracket off this pain right this second. What do you want to do?
Okay.
Like what do you want to do? Like, and I'm asking this intentionally, like we're like two friends and you just won the lottery. Like, what do you want to do? What would you love to do? You mentioned management a few times.
That's what I've done all along, and even in volunteer, like I said. But right now, honestly, I have 2 part-time jobs. I do driving school in the afternoon, and then I do just to get, I started these just to get out of my mess and to start helping people and working with people. And I teach fitness classes to seniors, and I love it.
I love that too.
I can't make a living at that.
Yeah,
I can't make a living doing that.
We're going to send you a copy of our friend Ken Coleman's brand new book, Paycheck to Purpose, bestseller book, and it's going to walk you through, I love this stuff, but how do I turn this love into a forever job or a career, a calling? And we're going to send you that book, so stay on the line here in Austin. We'll get it to you.
Yes, and Tammy, pay off that debt, get your emergency fund in place. You can start investing 15% of your income and park that money in a high-yield savings account so you're ready to buy a house.
Just sit on it,
when that time comes. Thanks so much for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month.
Resolution season, and if you're like most people, you make resolutions on New Year's Day and give them up by Valentine's Day. Why? Because you were trying to figure it out on your own. So if you've decided to take control of your money this year, don't do it alone. Get the support and accountability you need by joining a Financial Peace University class. You'll go through our proven money plan with other people who will help you stay motivated because they're trying to get out of debt and build wealth just like you. And right now, there are hundreds of FPU classes getting started, both in person and online. So forget the lame resolutions. Make 2022 the year you take control of your money, and don't do it alone. Find an FPU class and get started for free at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. I'm George Camel. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm joined today by Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls. The phone lines are open, 888-825-5225. Melinda joins us in Cleveland, Ohio. Melinda, welcome to the show. Hey.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Sure. How can we help?
My husband and I are very new to the baby steps. We started the beginning of January.
Welcome to the gang.
Woo!
But thank you. But we have 11,000 saved already, and from everything we've seen, Dave says to take your extra over 1,000 and put it towards your debt, which we would love to do, but we have a daughter who's medically complicated, so we never know when we will or won't be working if she needs surgery. So we were kind of struggling as to whether or not we should
put it on the debt or just leave it to cover like a monthly bills if she ends up in the hospital.
How much debt do you guys have?
Over $100,000.
What kind of debt is that?
About 80% of it is medical, and then we have a few small student loans left to pay on and car notes. We don't have any credit card debts.
Okay. What's the car worth that has the loan on it?
I want to say it was blue booked around $5,000.
Okay. And how much do you owe on it?
About $3,000.
Okay. Well, probably not worth selling. I was just seeing if we could speed up this process for you guys.
How much money do y'all make? Yeah.
We brought home about $100,000 last year.
Okay. That's good. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your child with the complicated medical situation. That's a really tough thing to walk through, and I know it's scary, especially with your finances going, all right, what if we have to be out of work and can't make that income? Is that the biggest fear right now for you guys?
It is.
What's the medical
we
complication?
We really want to follow. She has inoperable brain tumors. So like every 3 months we have to go get MRIs, and then that's when we find out if we're good for 3 more months or if we need to do something.
I'm so sorry. How old is your baby girl?
10.
She's 10. Ugh, I'm so sorry.
Do you have good health insurance, or are you having a lot of costs associated with this, or is it covered?
Our insurance is pretty decent. I mean, considering everything she's been through, she's had like 6 brain surgeries. We've already been through chemo once. So we're doing okay. Our insurance is decent.
So I'm tempted, and George, step in here. I'm tempted to sit down and look at what are the known knowns here. And you know that every 3 months we're going to have to go to the hospital and do an MRI, and here's what that's going to cost. And this is going to feel hard because there's so much emotion wrapped up to your daughter and to the hospital trips, and they're heartbreaking, they're hard, and all this. Sit down and this is hard, but sit down and do the math on this. And pull it apart from the emotion just for a second and say, each one of these trips costs this. Let's make sure we have this in an account for this year, because we know this expense is coming. And here we call it, during storm mode, you want to pile up cash if you know you got a baby coming. This is similar. You know these expenses are going to come. And it may even be that you sit down with your hospital administrator and say, we know these 4 are coming. We're going to try to pay these out of pocket. Like, what kind of cash discount would you give us if we just came and wrote you a check for this stuff? Or if they're not going to do that, or if you've got to run these through insurance. You get what I'm driving at here, is coming up and saying these are our knowns. And then of the last 5 years, you've had 6 brain surgeries plus another surgery, right? What do those run?
Yeah. Her big one put us about $40,000.
$40,000
for her debulking. Yeah, that was her biggest one.
Okay.
Man, I see this more as a sinking fund for medical costs, more than I see it as we're trying to skirt the baby steps. Like John's talking about, this is a storm mode, and you want to make sure that you're able to get the care you need and that you're not going deeper into debt. So I'm okay with this setting aside. What I don't want it to do is this kind of gets out of control and you just keep saving and saving out of just fear of the unknown. Because I want this debt paid off. And with medical debt, the good news is you may be able to negotiate this, and like John's saying, there may be cash discounts. There could be hardship programs that you can work with the hospital that you owe the money to. So I would be investigating all of my options and really trying to fight all of this medical debt, because it is one of those debts that you can go, hey, I know we have $80,000, but would you guys take 20 today and be done with this? And in that case, they may say, sure, we'll do that. And so if I'm you guys, I'm still going to put as much money as I can on the side to pay down the debt, to cover all of the healthcare costs that are involved. And I'm hoping this is a season and not a lifestyle, because if it is, then we've got to make some moves. We've got to still pay down this debt. You guys have a good income, and so make sure that you're doing a budget. Are you currently doing a monthly budget? I know you're new to the plan.
We actually just really started hammering it out, writing it down, everything this month.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, I want to gift you guys a subscription to Ramsey Plus, and that is our online membership that will walk with you. You have the Every Dollar Plus budgeting tool that will help you put a plan to paper for where your money's going. It's going to give you access to all of our courses and online content like Financial Peace University. So do that together, and maybe it'll give you guys some hope, some vision, some clarity for what to do with your money and your life as you move through this storm you guys are in. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Hey, Melinda, is this a terminal diagnosis here, or is this just going to be the rest of your? I mean, it's going to be years and years and years of this.
It's going to be years and years and years of it.
Okay, so it's not a terminal diagnostic here. This is just part of her physiology.
No, it's not terminal yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I just like it may be that you and your husband sit down and say, do we need to go get different jobs? Do we need to go make a different amount of money? Like, this is a recurring expense that's going to be a part of our life forever. What I don't want you to do is continue to rack up medical debt just indefinitely. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are hard conversations to have, but it's sitting down. One of the things the budget forces you to do is look at the reality of the life that we're living. Is this house too big? Is this house too small? Can we afford to live in downtown New York? Do we need to move to Nebraska? We love our jobs. We make $100,000. Is it time I go get a different job that's going to make us more money? Or you get what I'm driving at? It's a truth-telling agent. A budget is.
Yeah. And if you have
Right.
$11K and you go to the hospital and say, hey, we literally have $10K to our name, would you take that in exchange for this $80,000 in medical debt? They may say yes. And if that's the case, I would give them that $10,000, and you will be freed up from all of that debt, leaving you with the small car loan, the student loans to clean up. And that's going to really give you guys some peace as you move forward, because you're not going to be so reliant on income when you don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah, maybe. I had never thought of that. That might be a great I don't want to say a great move, but it'd be take your bank statement, say this is all the money that we have, and I want to keep $1,000 to make sure I can keep the lights on in my house. Will you take this in exchange for this medical debt?
Yeah.
Or what's the number? You give us the number that we would like to clear this up. But at the same time, you got to know that in 2 more months, you're going back for another MRI. 3 more months after that, you're coming back for another MRI. So again, it's about looking at reality and saying, how does the way we're living match up with our financial reality?
Yeah. Hang on. Our friend Austin screening the phones there will pick up. He'll get you connected with Ramsey Plus. Get plugged into that. Watch the videos. Do the budget. I hope that gives you guys a little bit of peace, a little bit of control over a situation that feels out of control right now. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, host of the Fine Print podcast, joined today by Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. Blinds.com 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every single month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Jade in New Hampshire. Jade writes, my boyfriend and I do not agree on money. I'm 24 and he's 27, and we've been together for 3 years. We constantly fight because he wants to spend all his money and then my money instead of putting some money in savings. I try to explain we need to be financially stable by budgeting, but he says we are young and shouldn't worry about saving money. Genius. I've already started a retirement account and I'm currently debt-free. Should we break up if we don't agree on how to spend money, or am I being unreasonable? No, you should break up because you're married to you're dating an immature child.
Keyword dating, John. There's so many red flags here for a girlfriend and boyfriend, and he's spending her money, and they're trying to tell each other what to do with their money, and they're trying to be financially stable. My guess is they're living together based on just the situation.
Right.
There's just a lot of mess going on here, and it's not looking good as far as the long-term outlook of this relationship.
So let's go through this. We constantly fight. Red flag. I don't want to marry somebody that we constantly fight during the great years when we're dating, when we both still love each other, right?
The honeymoon period.
The honeymoon period. We constantly fight. He spends all his money. Immature child does not have the adult discipline to say, hey, tomorrow's going to come. The month after that's going to come. Next year's going to come. I need to start planning. And then he takes your money. That's red flag number 3, because now he's taking stuff that's not his, and he's taking it against your wishes. He's bashing through your boundaries to get some of what you've already said. Hey, I want to plan long term. I've debt free. I got a retirement account. And he said, I don't care what your boundaries are. I don't care what your wishes are. I want to feel good now. And this is going to come up with raising kids, buying a house, live in a certain town. I don't care what job you want. I want to stay at home and run, and then keep running. You're worth more than this, Jade.
I got to give props to Zach running the graphics in the booth. The lower third for this question says, should I dump my YOLO-minded boyfriend?
The answer is yes.
And when you put it that way, I'm just going to say yes, without context on that question. And the key word here is boyfriend. Now, They're not married. There's nothing to fight for here. They're 24 and 27. You'll be okay. I think if you can't get on the same page about your financial values, you got to find someone who does have those values.
It's not even about financial values. It's about respect and dignity.
Yeah.
And this man is not treating you with respect and dignity. Respect and dignity is about, we're going to plan together, so we're going to sacrifice the YOLO now for safety and security down the road.
Yep.
It is, what's going to make you feel safe, what's going to make you feel loved. And this guy cares about one thing, spending everybody's money.
She is 24, he is 27, and she is still dating a child. That's not
exactly
okay.
Right.
Time to go, Jade. Sorry. There's other men out there for you. Good luck. All right, let's go to the phones this hour. Natasha joins us in Butte, Montana. Natasha, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thank you.
How can we help today?
I'm actually calling for some advice regarding my mom. My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in November of last year, and we lost him in January. It's been almost a year.
Natasha, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
What was his name?
Thank you. George.
Awesome guy?
Yes. Fantastic guy.
How old was he?
He was 57.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry, Natasha. Yikes.
That's okay. One day at a time.
That's exactly right. So how can we help?
Well, my mom, so previous to him getting sick, they had sold their house and started building a house on a piece of property, pretty remote. They spent 5 years building it. And when I say building it, I mean building it. Like they hand milled every piece of lumber in the house.
Wow.
And so
a true dream home.
Yes. And he had always wanted to build a house. He had never built a house before. when he passed, my brothers and I and my husband kind of helped my mom finish it. It wasn't quite done yet. She listed it this summer and then pulled it down. Emotionally, it's been very difficult for her. It's worth about $2 million.
Right.
They've got a main house and then a cabin in 56 acres. The house payment is roughly $2,000 a month, and she has about $200,000 in the bank.
Okay.
And she just cannot figure out what the right answer is, whether to put it back on the market. She could make it work financially to continue making the payments. She's been doing Airbnb on the cabin on the property. And she's looking at a long-term renter now. But mathematically and emotionally, she's having a hard time between the two.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And I can't give her advice because, we helped as often as we could on the build, and there's a lot of him tied up into the house. So
there's not a lot. There's his entire spirit is woven into that thing. Literally, the nails in that home were hammered by. You know what I mean? This is different. Normally, you talk to couples and they met with architects and picked out fixtures together, and this is different. He built this thing, right? So let's take and this is hard, and this is going to even be offensive the way I say this, and so I apologize ahead of time, but let's take the emotion off the table for a second.
No, that's something that I just can't do. So
no, I got you. If your mom had the opportunity with $200,000 in the bank, would she buy a $2 million property to become a landlord and to manage 57 acres and a couple of homes on her own in the middle of the wilderness in Montana?
No, probably not.
And so that to me is the answer to the ongoing, do we sell this or not? Is what is the life we are trying to uphold? And the fact right now, it sounds like she's trying to hang on to this incredible man that built this home, that set them on this. They had plans, right? They had a vision for the back half of their life. And it just...
Yeah, it was actually going to be a glamping and camping property.
Of course it was. Yeah, it was going to be amazing. I mean, God almighty. I'm thinking about what an incredible dream that is. And so it's separating the fact that he is deep within her, in her heart. He's a part of her. At the cellular level, he is no longer in this home. And it's being able to pull that apart and say, what would he want? He want me to take the equity of this home and go live, not our dream, but what do I want to do? What's my dream going to be? And so getting her to say, okay, if he take him out of the picture, I wouldn't go buy a $2 million property that I can barely afford and run it, even though it's over my head. What would I do? Where would I live? Would I go move my grandkids? Would I get a condo instead and take a wild vacation once a year? What would that look like? And would my husband want me to have $2 million in the bank?
Yeah.
Or would he want me to manage a 57-acre property all on my own? That's the question I would ask. And my guess is he would say, oh, honey, take the money and go do the thing you've always wanted to do. Right?
He told her towards the end.
Oh, he did. So he's already freed her.
Yes.
Yes. And so the thing I always tell folks is, what's the best way to steward this money when somebody passes? And it sounds like, as hard as it is, the ultimate outcome here will be we're going to sell this thing. And if you've got a $2 million buyer, if you've got a $2 million person who's willing to take it off your hands, I would lean that direction.
You got to grieve this, maybe do a ceremony, commemorate what was, do something special, but we got to have some closure here and move on.
That's right. And then go build a beautiful next chapter. Oh, I'm so sorry. We're thinking about you guys.
scripture of the day, Colossians 3:14. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. Nelson Mandela said, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears.
I love that.
It's a good one.
Love
Real
it.
good. All right, open phones this hour. Anthony joins us in San Francisco, California. Anthony, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Yeah, hi, John. Hi, George. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Yeah, I'm 29 years old. I have a girlfriend. We're about the same age, and we went to basically high school sweethearts. But basically, we're in a kind of a hard place, kind of figuring out the next direction within the next 2 to 5 years in terms of getting married, you know, having kids in a house, and all within California. But then we have our own student debt, and I have a car payment, and just kind of getting a little bit more sense of a direction on how we can start to approach things.
Okay. How much debt do you have?
Well, hold on. Approach what things? Approach your financial situation? Or just how are you all going to build a future together? Are you asking a marriage question or a money question? Or both?
I guess it's a little bit of both. For me, it's more, you know, taking care of our finances first. So we've had to talk about marriage already, you know, year after year, and our relationship's really strong, but obviously we don't want to jump into things, getting married and house and kids right away because we're both coming out of college debt. I guess for me, I've been a lot better in terms of paying it down because I got a job right away after high school, and then she was pursuing the medical field, so it took her time to get through all the schooling and things like that. But
how long have you guys been dating?
We just hit our 11 years a few days ago.
11 years and we're still just taking it slow. Brother, what are you waiting on?
I think it's more so the money wise.
Is it the money? I'm genuinely curious. Is it really the money?
I don't know. I think it's just been difficult living in California, especially in the San Francisco area, trying to make the right moves. I mean, I guess you can say we can get married, and that's.
Do y'all live together?
But, yes.
Anthony, what do you? There's something bigger than this. What's the holdup? Is she not the one?
No, definitely she's the one. We just wanted to make sure we were financially stable first, because she's coming in right now out of college about $80K debt.
People get married with debt all the time. It's not going to affect your marriage if you're on the same page.
Yeah, and then you're just going to work together and crush this thing out. There's something else here.
No, I think for me too, because when I was paying off my college debt, it was just hard to kind of, I guess, support at the time, because when she was living with me, I was the one working, trying to pay my debt down, keeping up with the interest rate before COVID, you know, and then my dumb self at the time bought a $25,000 car coming out of college, so that didn't help. And then she was, you know, going back to school, and she didn't have a job, so I've been kind of helping support her for the last, 3 to 5 years.
So are you waiting until she gets around to paying her debts off?
I guess for buying a house in that aspect, but we've already talked about probably getting married next year in 2023. And so I've just saved enough to pay off my debt and remaining car balance if I was to write a check today. So I've done that over the last 8 months. And then I guess now that I'm saving for a ring, and I think I can get that in the next 3 months. So it was my plan to propose this year.
Okay.
And then next year we kind of move everything full-fledged and just kind of go heads on after that. But I didn't think at the time it was right for both of us to come. I mean, I guess we can get married, like you said, but
yeah, it's so much semantics right now. The only thing I'm hearing you say is you want her to pay off her debt. You've saved up money. You've worked hard to pay off yours. Do you not feel she's pulling her weight?
No, it's not that. I think what slowed it down was that when she was still doing school after college, she wanted to be a doctor. So after she graduated college, she took a year off because she said college was crazy, so it was fine. And then the next 2 years, she was going back to school to get her GPA, because when she applied to med school, she got rejected because her grades weren't competitive, so it took her about 2 years to take more classes. She then reapplied to med school at a lower level, at the DO level instead of the MD level, got rejected again. And, as she's applying to these med schools and cycles, it's once a year, and you don't know the decision until the year after. So that finally caught up to us year after year. And now that we've turned 29 and we're approaching our 30s, it's kind of like, okay, let's just, start to get things rolling. So she's currently working at an eye clinic right now, full time, in hopes of trying to apply to PA school, a physician assistant school.
Okay. When we could talk about your future, here's the thing. Your ball has been rolling for a long time. A long, long, long time, whether y'all want to acknowledge it or not. Y'all been together for more than a decade. And so y'all been playing house for however many years. You either know this is the person I'm going to marry and I'm into this, or it's time to move on. You say you want to marry, great. That's awesome. I would take all of the, I don't know, I'm just thinking, bro, you're in.
Right.
But get going. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get moving on down the road.
Anthony, I feel like you need a little gas in the tank, man. Like, you just got to man up, propose in the next month or two, pay off the debt today, get your emergency fund in place, and when you guys are married, you can tackle her debt together.
You're going to do it together.
And you're going to be fine. But sitting around waiting and making when money's less tight, maybe I'll get around to it. But that's the problem with playing house. You don't feel any urgency to make any real big moves, and so you kind of just meander through life.
And you look up and it's 11 years later and we're like, let's just get serious about it.
And you're 29, man. You act like you're going on 50. You're like, well, time's running out, so I'm going to sit around and keep waiting.
So, Anthony, can you pay your debt off today and be debt-free today?
Yes.
Will that feel good?
Yeah, it will.
Yes, it'll feel incredible. And then can you and your wife, your spouse or your girlfriend, whoever, can y'all just go down to the JP tomorrow and get married? Just call it good. Say we'll have a party later. It's COVID season. Let's save $100,000 on a wedding, and let's just go get married tomorrow, and we'll call it good.
Okay, so then I guess after that, does that mean, because I guess it was part of my responsibility to kind of save for a down payment because she was going to work on using her money to pay off her loans.
It will be
all
y'alls. There will be no.
Y'all.
You will have a singular pronoun. Us. We.
There's no well, she does the dishes and I save up for the down payment. And you guys got to get married to get on the same page.
Yes, same team.
And that's when you would combine accounts. That's when you set goals together. You have a vision for your life. And you go, what kind of life do we want to have? Great. Let's knock out your debt. Let's get our emergency fund in place. Let's save up for the down payment on the house. Let's invest 15% of our income. Let's become millionaires. Do whatever you want to do, but you got to do it together. Right now it feels like you're it's tit for tat.
When she took her time off, I had to save up all the money, and then I had to. Dude, that's relationship. That's marriage.
Yeah.
People are struggling. Somebody else lifts their arms up, and then somebody else is struggling. We're there to support each other and walk alongside each other. We're both doing great. Then you can really make some progress. We're both struggling. We struggle together. That's the whole relationship. That's what, man, you don't want to say it, but you don't think she's pulled her weight over the last 11 years financially. Oh, you mean so if we just get married, I gotta save up and buy it?
Right now, this is a roommate with benefits.
Yes. If you're the only one working, then yes. If she's got a full-time job optometrist, she's going to kick in too. You're both going to pay off her debts. You're both going to save up and buy this house. And if she peels off and goes back to school, she'll go back to school, man. And you will help support her because you'll be her husband. You'll be in a relationship with her, man. You got to change the way you're looking at this. Well, I did and she did. Y'all doing this together. Get it, man.
It's a good word, John. Can't wait to hear more from you at Money and Marriage. It's a great pitch. You and Rachel Cruz are going to be doing that February 11th.
A couple weeks.
So go to RamseySolutions.com. It's going to be a fun event. I'll be tuning in from home. Fun show, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Big shout out to Ben Hill running the board today, Austin Selby on the phones, Kelly Daniel, our producer.
Caitlin Brown back there on YouTube.
Running the video side, Zach on graphics, all the crew that makes this happen. We just happen to be here too. It's been awesome. Thank you so much, America. We'll be back with you before you know it. Until then, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously.
Did you know you can listen to The Ramsey Show on your smart speaker? Just tell Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri to play The Ramsey Show podcast. Check out all Ramsey Network shows on your smart speaker today.